Mike Tomlin took some heat when he made the decision to go with Russell Wilson over a healthy Justin Fields, who had led the Steelers to a 4-2 start. It was a gutsy move. It was a gutsy call, but it's paying dividends so far. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have won their last 2 games. Russell Wilson is 2-0 as this team starter, and this team is 6-2 going into the bye. The Pittsburgh Steelers look like a force to be reckoned with in the AFC, and in this one, I'm going to talk about them. Do me a solid, everybody. Smash that like button and smash the subscribe button for more Steelers content just like this. So you look at Wilson. He had a 278-yard passing game. He threw for a touchdown as he completed 20 of his 28 attempts on Monday Night Football in a win over the Giants, as Wilson set a Steelers franchise record for the most passing yards by a Steeler in his first 2 games with the organization, 542 per ESPN research. And though his first touchdown throws were called back, Wilson eventually found wide receiver Calvin Austin III for a 29-yard touchdown in the 4th quarter, marking Austin's 2nd score of the day after a 3rd quarter punt return to the house. Wilson's touchdown to Austin had just a 28.2% completion probability, according to NFL Next Gen Stats, giving the quarterback a league-leading 12 total touchdowns with less than a 30% completion probability since the start of last season. In other words, Russell Wilson, he finds a way to make improbable throws happen. And you look at the Steelers win, it was thanks in large part to Wilson and, of course, the good run game anchored by Najee Harris and his 3 straight 100-yard performances. The Steelers managed to record at least 400 yards of offense in consecutive weeks for the first time since the 2018 season per ESPN research. So this offense looks reinvigorated. It looks very good. And under Wilson right now, it just looks like the Steelers have that if factor. They have that, juice in them. And really, this is the best Steelers start in a while. I mean, the Steelers, they are 6-2, the team's best start since 2020, and they head into the bye 6-2 atop of the AFC North standings. Nobody had the Steelers atop of the AFC North standings through the first 8 games of this NFL season, but you look at how they're getting it done. The Steelers, they are orchestrating really good football right now, and they have shown flashes of how good this team can be. And 6-2, if you told Steelers fans that was going to be their record, they would have taken that in a heartbeat. And you look at Monday night, I mean, it wasn't the best overall game by the Steelers defense. By a long shot, they did allow 157 rushing yards to the Giants, and that's not going to sit well with this Steelers team. But look how they won that game. They forced a fumble when the Giants were driving, and then they intercepted Daniel Jones to seal it. So this defense, they came up with clutch plays when they needed to. So although there's a lot to work on, they still managed a very, very good game, and they made game-winning plays, and that allowed the Steelers to come away with that close win. As the Steelers, they have just 1 win by 7 points or less, though they do have a pair of 8-point wins after Monday night's game, and their point differential of plus 68 is the 2nd best in the AFC behind Buffalo and the 4th best in the NFL overall. So the second half of the season is going to be very important for this team, with all 6 of the team's AFC North games coming in the second half. So this is going to be a very, very critical second half of the season for the Steelers, and they're going to have games against Kansas City, Washington, as well as Philadelphia. So you look at the Steelers, their toughest games are ahead of them. So that is why it was so important for them to take care of business and really get off to the best start they possibly could. And they had to go into that game and beat the Giants as they did. So 6-2, they got to feel good about themselves. They still got their work cut out for them. But the Steelers, they are playing good ball right now. And the Steelers, 119 points allowed, is 2nd fewest in the AFC, and 90 points less than Baltimore has given up this season. So if you look at the Steelers, I mean, it's coming together for this team. And you got to give a ton of credit to Russell Wilson, because Wilson is the ultimate pro. And this is a guy in Wilson that, he's been around, he's won at the highest levels. And Tomlin, he raised eyebrows when he turned to Wilson and asked him to get Pittsburgh to find that next gear. And really, the Steelers have lacked that next gear since Ben Roethlisberger's retirement. But with Wilson, you see that the Steelers, they have it in them. There's just a different feel with this team. With Wilson, you know that this team's got a chance each and every week. There is no ceiling. With all due respect to Fields, I just felt they were capped. Fields, for as good as he is, he's mobile. Wilson, I always thought, gave the Steelers the best chance to win, the best chance to cause damage and compete for a Super Bowl. And we're seeing that. Wilson knows how to get it done. He makes big plays, and he is a smart decision maker. And, Fields' time, it might be coming, but I don't think it's now. And I think this is good for Fields, to learn under Wilson, see what he can do, having that positive mentorship, witnessing it firsthand to be in a winning situation. I think this is going to be a win-win, because not only are the Steelers going to be competing now and contending now, because that is the hope and goal, but they're also going to pave the way for Justin Fields to learn, because he still is the future of this team. So it's a really good situation the Steelers are in. But, you look at Wilson, it's hard to argue with the results they've gotten with him. The Steelers have surpassed 400 yards in both of Wilson's starts. So how can you possibly, go away from that? And that's something they haven't done since 2018. So there is a lot of work to do. And, they got to do a better job at not stalling in the red zone. But there's plenty of reason for optimism with the Steelers team going into the second half of the season. And for the first time in a long time, Pittsburgh's offense looks potent. And it looks potent enough to win if the defense holds its own. And Wilson's deep ball remains as wonderful as it can be. And, he has that moon ball, as Chris Collinsworth called it, that he always, seems to complete. And Wilson, he's playing mistake-free. He's completed 36 of 57 for 542 yards, which is a franchise record for a quarterback in his first 2 starts with the club. So he is efficient. He's not making mistakes. And right now, you look at the Steelers, they want to get back to winning football. And if this defense hits another gear in the second half and Wilson continues to play as well as he has, it looks like the Steelers could be a dangerous team in the AFC. So there's going to be some important games upcoming, but the Steelers, they enter their bye in a perfect situation. They've been doing a really good job setting the foundation, and you got to like how this team looks in the early part of the season. But Steelers fans, how are you feeling about this team? Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a legitimate threat in the AFC going into the second half? And how do you feel about Russell Wilson taking over and the job he's done thus far with this Steelers team? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.